and a very warm welcome to you all, wherever you may be, to today's edition of Lockdown SK, the interactive self-isolation talk show, coming to you as always from our mobile streaming studio here on the beautiful island of Corfu in sunny Greece. And, as I usually say, should there be an interruption to this transmitted broadcast today, please log on to our website at www.StudioKerkyra.com or the video platform that is Vimeo.com, or else good old YouTube, and now, of course, Twitter and Twitter's Periscope. And as always, to bring this digital broadcast to you across the internet, I'm very lucky to have the help and assistance of our wonderful producer, Claire Haas, who will be endeavouring to answer all your Facebook Live comments and taking those elusive calls live from Skype. And, of course, he needs no introduction from me whatsoever. It is, of course, the one and only Thomas Haas. Hello, Thomas.
Hello, Adrian, and I hope it's okay. I heard we have an echo on the line, but I don't have a clue what it is and how bad it really is. But hi, guys, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. I hope you can hear us proper. So it's hello, and we got subtitles. I have no idea how to switch that on. But hi, guys. Steve Bowers is saying hello from Cloudy Manchester. Hope everybody is well. Lorraine Smith is saying hi, hello. Hope all is well from sunny Pompey. And Melita, hello from a very warm London.
Oh, great.
Yes, Neil is saying hi, everybody. Margaret is saying hi from hot and sunny Kent. And Robert James, I have been alerted listening in. So hi guys, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in, and I hope the sound is all right. I have no idea.
Yes, we did have some gremlins in the system yesterday, you may remember, which turned out to be something with the power lead to the microphones. We don't quite know what this current echo problem is. Please bear with us. Hopefully we will get it sorted out if it's still persisting as soon as we can. In case you want to know, today is a lovely sunny, ever little breezy 21 degrees on this beautiful island of Corfu. The seas are a little bit choppy, but they're that gorgeous green colour that you see sometimes. No kite surfers out today that I didn't see. Yes, we will always warmly welcome all our viewers and listeners to wherever you are, and thanks very much for participating in this programme, Lockdown SK, which of course is your digital platform.
Yes, and I apologize if there must be a slight echo on the thing. How it comes, I have no idea, but it's just I had a software download. I download this, and since then I'm having a small problem. I have no idea.
It's always
but guys, thanks for tuning in, thanks for watching, and we're getting a lot of questions in.
Oh.
But you know what? Before we start off, I want to do one question out to you guys. I want to know what you think, and that's we're gonna throw a question every day now because we're interested in certain things. We try. So, when do you consider lockdown to be over? So, regarding where you are or in general, when do you think? When can we really say, "Hey, lockdown is over"?
Exactly. Very good question. A little bit of a moral or ethical debate, perhaps. We've got a few of those lined up for you over the next few episodes of Lockdown SK, but we really would like to know your opinion on that because it seems a very confusing picture. Everybody's got their strong views and every country seems to be different, as we're seeing on a day-by-day basis. So what do you actually think? What is the definition of the end of lockdown? We don't know the answer. We're looking and listening out for your answers and your thoughts and opinions on that subject.
Yes, definitely. No, I hope it is weird, you know, that our 50th episode. We done 48 episodes, we had no problem at all. Software updates come into play in the last 2 episodes. I have no clue what's going on, but it's just that's how it is. And you know what? We're gonna make it work. Don't worry at all. Richard is saying, "Hi guys, hope you're okay. Nice and sunny in Bournemouth. Thanks for driving in." So, you know what?
50 episodes, Thomas. I mean, it's extraordinary. We didn't think we'd reach 50 when we started on the 15th of March, which was a Sunday evening, I do believe. The day before strict lockdown was imposed here in Greece. 1 minute after midnight, I think it became effective after we started to broadcast. And then we had that week, didn't we, when we couldn't go anywhere at all. It was total lockdown. And then we had March the 22nd, I think it was, when we had to seek permission to go out with text
and
message. And it was always that and at the beginning, it wasn't quite so quick. There was usually about a minute delay before you got the answer back. And in that minute, your thought went of all sorts of directions. Are we going to be allowed out? Are they going to reject the request? But actually, towards the end of the lockdown period, I have to say they got ever so quick. And by the time you'd pressed the send button, you got an instant answer. I mean, you couldn't even think of a nanosecond. You got the answer. And I'm lucky to say that we always got yeses. I don't know what people must have thought if they got a no.
No, it's, you know what, it's quite, when we started within 24-hour notice.
We did. It was very quick.
It was very quick. You know, we started on the 14th of February.
We started, that's right. Yes, we did. Saturday. We started on Saturday morning. We started to lay some basic plans out. But we also said to our lovely viewers and listeners, to wherever you are in the world, that it was very much an embryonic show. We really were in uncharted waters. We had no idea of the sort of direction we were going to be travelling in, but we knew we were going to be travelling that direction with you, our lovely viewers and listeners, and so it has come to pass. You have facilitated and allowed us to bring this daily broadcast live. It's always exciting to do a live show to you across the world through the internet, and I personally think it's wonderful. And there's another thing that I've got to bang on home about, is that I don't actually think, Thomas, in the world, media world at large, there are that many daily live shows that are so completely, fully interactive as this one.
I don't know. I haven't seen any
maybe
others.
Our viewers
go
know
mainstream,
the answer.
maybe. So maybe if there's any other, I would love to know. It's great, definitely.
Too. But it's been a sheer joy, pleasure, and privilege to sit here for 50 episodes and talk a load of rollicks sometimes to all you good people out there. But I'll tell you something else. Thomas and I, we've learnt a lot. We've learnt a lot from you, our lovely viewers and listeners, who have furnished us with information we wouldn't otherwise have known.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, you know, it was such a progress. I would have never thought we're gonna go 50 episodes with that. It's not gonna be that serious. We all hoped, you know, we saw the brighter side of the whole thing. But now hitting, 50 episodes, how many are we gonna do? So that's the question. That's why we're asking the question.
Exactly.
When do you think? And I got here from Annabelle and Nikos in London, lockdown should only cease when infection rates are under control. Comprehensive testing, tracing and isolation is rolled out properly and death rates are falling. So that's one of them.
Yes, that's a good point. There's a few things in there. I don't quite know where we are with the testing in Greece. I haven't seen any latest news on that subject. Infection cases do seem to be, the rate of growth definitely has stemmed, hasn't it? It's definitely declined. I think the figures relatively seem to be constant at the moment, as far as we know.
No, so it's. I mean, United Kingdom is second worldwide. They say now,
yes,
and
now well over 30,000.
That's bad.
It's horrific. Really.
So that's sad. Just
Terribly
to say
sad.
That, just to come out of your mouth, it's unimaginable. We would have never thought that 6 months ago.
And absolutely not. You could never have predicted any of these figures, I don't think. One thing that we must remind our viewers is that the figures are not necessarily directly comparable country to country, because the UK has been, for the last few weeks, as we all know, included in the figures statistics from care homes. I read this morning that Italy still is not doing that, and France has got a patchy record, apparently. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. So to say that the UK is ahead of Italy in terms of fatalities is a little bit unknown. It looks on paper that it is, but we don't actually know the full extent of the Italian figures, has to be said.
No, definitely not. And, let me go over, because we asked this question. Melita is saying, in the UK, lockdown ends when the most vulnerable, shielded people can go out and have fun.
Oh,
so,
well,
that's a good
point,
one.
Melita, it is, because I'm very concerned about all these fit and healthy 70-year-olds who are imposed in their house, imprisoned, really, even if they're fit and healthy and not displaying any symptoms or not suffering from COVID-19. But already, Thomas, you see from a couple of viewers there, we've got a difference now of criteria, haven't we? The bar is moving around here. We've got a lot of things to consider, and this is very good,
of course,
by the way, guys. Thanks for bringing these thoughts into
thank you,
us.
definitely.
Do keep sharing them. That's the point here, because then maybe with all these points of consideration on the table, as it were, we might be able to find a route map out of so-called lockdown. as you know, we're only asking because we're not quite sure how many more episodes of Lockdown SK we're going to be doing. But I do know that some of our viewers are a bit concerned that we're going to suddenly stop. We won't.
We won't stop.
No,
we definitely won't stop.
And
that's one thing. Because we're gonna promote the island anyway. We're gonna keep you up to date of what's going on, how the whole thing starts implementing itself here, how tourism changes probably, and how the island hopefully fills up with tourists.
Absolutely. And this show, Lockdown SK, will morph into something else. So don't worry, you'll still have your daily fix of SK.
We got already
some
plans,
form
aren't we?
Yes,
we're thinking a little bit ahead, so don't worry. But here, Robert James said, whenever we are on lockdown easing, stand to ready to repeal counterattack. So, it's another, it's then the second wave, what everybody is afraid of. Now we're easing it. And we're getting quite confident. And like Germany, Merkel said, bold. Now let's be a little bit bold because Germany is easing their restrictions so far that in June there should be the first Bundesliga football game. So that's another one on the side. So you see the restrictions are how different the countries easing their restrictions. So after what do we go? Because at the end of the day, we are here and we broadcast to the rest of the world out there. So when is lockdown really over?
Well, we don't know, but hopefully you wonderful viewers out there know the answer, probably better than us. So keep your thoughts coming. We're very interested to hear what you're thinking and your criteria for the end of lockdown. Probably everybody's got a slightly different take on the subject.
Yeah, and here, thank you for writing in. Thank you for commenting, guys. So if you have something to say, don't hesitate. Let us know here live on the show. Send us a comment or send us an email inbox at StudioKerkyra.com. And when I look at Tom Gettings, he's watching and he's saying hello from sunny Biddeford.
Wow.
Yeah. Lavinia is watching here. Cherry O. He's saying hello, guys, from Donegal. Congratulations on your 50th.
Oh,
so it's
great,
you,
Jerry. That's very nice of you. Oh, we appreciate that. But it's been great because we've got to talk to you. Well, kind of communicate with you both ways, and this is wonderful. This is truly interactive. Okay, I know we've had a few gremlins with the Skype incoming calls, but we're gradually trying to fix that, and we are hopefully going to get a call in tomorrow. And I do apologise for yesterday's failed attempt. It was something wrong with the power lead to the mic. We're not quite sure exactly.
I have no idea. But hey, that's how it is. But we have so much content. We have so much to talk about it because we constantly talk about what's going on.
Never stop talking, do we?
No, I know. It is
That's
great.
why it's a talk show.
But hey, thanks for looking in. Thanks for logging on. It's great. Lavinia is saying hello. And lots more. A friend of mine has just told me Southend Beach is packed, UK lockdown falling apart, and that's Christopher Taberner. Christopher, thank you so much. See, and that was one of the things we were worried about when they ease lockdown, when they come, how people taking that, because some are fed up and some
Yeah, absolutely. There's a hell of a lot of difference of opinions there. Can I just say something about a viewer? We had the wonderful Vinny. Lavinia, you shared with us on the message yesterday about how you used to work for an insurance company a long time ago. Eagle Star was the name of the firm you mentioned, now part of Zurich Financial Services, by the way. Used to be owned by British American Tobacco, did you know? One of the biggest tobacco companies in the world. I don't know when you were working for them, Lavinia, but you made the point that your boss, who was the claims manager, I think, senior claims director, you said that he refused every single claim just out of principle. Well, that's absolutely horrifying. And after a week's worth of work there, you walked out. Good on you, Lavinia. I'm very impressed to hear that. But, Thomas, that cuts to what we were saying yesterday, doesn't it, about insurance claims, and there is no such thing as COVID-19 in the small print.
In the small print,
but
makes me laugh.
It just shows you that their default setting of any claim is to reject, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. That's how insurance companies work for ever.
Yeah, and that's how they end up making billions of pounds in profits out of all you good folks' pockets, by the way.
And let me say hello to Armi Spella in Finland. Greetings from Finland, she says. So that's your Finnish coming in, mate.
Päivä ilta, Armi. Actually, I missed the good afternoons. That was a good one. Päivä ilta päivä, I hope. No doubt you'll tell me off if it's wrong. But welcome aboard, Armi. Always good to hear from you.
And thank you for tuning in and watching Night's 50th episode. And I want to go over and say something about local news quickly. There is some good news happening. While this whole lockdown was going on, we had the municipality, central town north and south, they had time to put their heads together and they start to renovate the roads. So the road safety in Corfu down. No? The technical works department of the Central Corfu and Dystopian Islands municipality has been resurfacing recently, and so south and north, because we saw it now just yesterday, the last 2 days, all of a sudden they're down here at our area and they're fixing the roads.
They are, although I would point out, as anyone who knows these roads on this beautiful island, they are exacting, they're a challenge, but I personally love driving them. But they're no picnic in the park, not the roads here, let's be honest here. And also, it is a soul-destroying job repairing the roads here, because when they do, you can bet your bottom euro a short while afterwards they'll need repairing again. For instance, today when I went out, there's a pothole that's just appeared on the main road towards one of our original sponsors, that wonderful garage Rev Oil, between Maratica and AS Mateus, just out of nowhere, Thomas.
Yeah, I know. All of a sudden that was there, and that wasn't. I'm sure this wasn't there yesterday.
It was not there yesterday. I can guarantee it. So it is a little bit difficult. We do have to have a little bit of patience. These aren't normal roads here. Somebody did point out to me there's a reason. They have a stark choice to make in terms of what type of tarmac to lay. Would you believe? They either go for the all year round one, or else they go for either a summer or a winter specific one. So it's not straightforward, you know. And I think they went in the past for the ones that were best in the summer, with the fact that there were more usage of roads in the summer, obviously because of all the car hire traffic and the tourists. In the winter months, though, of course, it's not necessarily black ice we have to worry about here in Corfu. It's more to do with the dripping olive trees. Olive oil on the road, well, not oil, but olive juice, if you like, on the road is as bad. Olive juice. It's as bad as black ice. I can tell you, I've had a few nasty ones, so we won't go into that. But anyway, I'm still here to tell the tale. But the thing is about olive oil on the road, it creates a film, obviously, and you can't see it really, just like black ice, and that's why it becomes quite dangerous. Which is always a good idea if you've got overhanging olive trees on the side of the road. Chop them down, not the trees, but lop the branches. I know, not you can't chop.
You can't chop. You have to be careful with the thing. No. But I know trim them. So if you just prune or trim them, is this all right? But no, I love driving here and seeing that now that they started really to get their act together. It's brilliant. I'm loving that. It's really great.
At long last, we mentioned about the rubbish has gone to the thing of the past. They're putting drainage systems by the side of the road with ditches, which is also wonderful to see. So generally speaking, we can truly report that in the last 6-7 months, there's been a great improvement in basic things. Tender, loving care, I would say, is back on this island.
Yes, definitely, and that fits in with the next message. Tom Giddings in saying, can I say hello to Eleni and Minas from Guvia? Hope you're safe and well. So, Eleni and Minas from Guvia, hope you're safe and all good. There's a lot of love from Tom Giddings coming your way.
Nice one, Tom. Well done. You see, it just proves the point where this interchange of views and opinions and hellos and greetings between Corfu and all round the world, because this island has touched so many millions of people since the late 50s when mass tourism began here. Just imagine all those people that have ever visited this island. Once visited, you never forget it.
No chance. I mean,
not with us Jerry, on the other end of the line, that's for sure.
Jerry is just saying, hi Thomas, is that Irish coffee you drink? You know, because he sees my mug here in the back. Mate,
good
I wish, mate.
No, as far as it's not. Not at the moment, anyway. You never know. I might turn him to drink, or someone might, but no, everything is all right at the moment.
As far as you know.
As far as I know, yes.
But the other good story here is the opening of all the voluntary recycle centers on Corfu. They start getting all going. From yesterday on and today, I saw fantastic pictures where all the volunteers come together and start collecting the recycles again and bring them to their centers. They actually built out from the ground, from nothing. So guys, well done. It's a great job. It's fantastic to see that. And there you see at all, when it wakes up, everything wakes up in a I don't know, in the right way it seems to be. And we just have to be careful we keep on that one. Because now we have the opportunity to make changes for the betterment.
I'm very pleased. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree with that, Thomas. And now is the golden given opportunity, isn't it? And we all need to do this as a planet. We know it. We don't want to, keep harking on about it. But climate change it has having drastic effects, most of them negative, unfortunately. Very good to hear the recycling is going to be starting to open up again, Thomas, because I've got an absolute mountain of recyclable tins and plastic bottles that I'll be desperately glad to get rid of Don't know about you.
Yeah, I got a few here, and that, you know, when you recycle, you do that proper. And I saw that for you last time. You really pack them proper up, and you said, but you know, that's bad. You know, when you hear you have to start being part of it and lead by example. But the change in the last 2 years, the change was dramatic. It was unbelievable.
Totally. Because when I first came to the island in 2006 and was here every other year since, the word recycling wasn't even known. I don't think it was never spoken about. The occasional tourist did bring it up, and it was always met with a deadpan, stony silence, deadpan face, stony silence. But not anymore. I think you're right, Thomas. I think it has all woken up in the last 2 years or so, hasn't it? There's a tremendous push.
Tremendous push and going ahead.
And it's really happening. It's really working. That's the incredible thing. That's good. The local one to us here in Alakunis area is, I think it's called Masongi Spot. And I mentioned that the other day. There's a whole full-blown recycling there. You can recycle anything and everything. It's all volunteers. They're great people as well. I'm hoping that they're going to be open very soon. That's opposite the cement works, if you know where that is, on the road from Maratica to AS Matthias.
Yeah, and I'm just looking. Thanks, guys. There's so many messages coming in. Thanks. If you want one of these things, we would like to know, and that we ask, when, in your opinion, is lockdown over? What's your personal thought of that? So still keep these messages coming and go on. And the other news, the other thing, you know, we spoke Ireland. Ireland is going. The tourism, okay, let's see how this works. But the bad news is now Airbnb.
Oh, right, yes.
Ooh, no, Airbnb
we heard a bit
about that, and we had a quick look into that, and it's all regarding the short-term rentals.
Right.
They gonna down the drain. So they were in a Greek newspaper, main newspaper, the article how Airbnb is going down with the short-term rental. So Airbnb is a quarter of the workforce. They are cutting, making redundant. No,
absolutely. You made a good point, Thomas, talking about this, about social distancing. That many of Airbnb's properties that are listed currently at the moment would fail the new regulations for social distancing.
Yeah, because there's too many, you know, this is up to 6 people. You can't say that anymore.
No, you can't.
If there's a 2-bedroom, then it's probably to each bedroom a person. That's right. It. You know, if you're a couple, then probably you get away with 3, but probably, you know, it's 2 and in the other bedroom 1 person. I don't know how they laid that out.
I don't think they fully know themselves. They're going through the system. And I think what we can say is that there won't be so many properties generally available across the board around the world on Airbnb after this pandemic has died down as there were before, that's for sure.
No, definitely. Man, as a journalistic friend of mine, we spoke before the show, who said they just investigating that seriously because they heard that Airbnb is putting some regulations together for certain, and most of the properties they have will not qualify on their websites then. So that's the problem. If that's true or not, they're just looking in, they said, yeah, there is something going on, but they just can't put their finger on what it is. But there's gonna be a dramatic change, what could save Airbnb, but you know, because they have a reach already, they have followers, they have customers, and on this customer base they can probably adjust. But it's going to be, I don't know.
There is one big difference now. When they first started, and let's face it, it's quite a new company. It hasn't been around those many numbers of years, but they had a definitive business model or plan when they first started, which probably was very effective for the last few years, as we've seen. I mean, a tremendous proliferation of Airbnb properties on the market, which caused a lot of problems in other areas, like for Athens, for instance, had a terrible trouble. You couldn't find short-term accommodation to ease the housing crisis, because there is a housing crisis in Athens, because everybody had rented their properties out to Airbnb. One thing is for sure, their existing business model will have to change, Thomas, in light of coronavirus pandemic and social distancing rules. They just have to.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm getting here, Christopher Daman is writing in and saying, I would ban Airbnb full stop. No regulations, limit safety, and no inspections. So,
I agree, Chris.
It's, you know what, it's spot on.
I totally agree, Chris. I mean, many people would disagree with us, and I can see the benefits from a customer's point of view of Airbnb, and perhaps there are some benefits from landlords or people who own the properties. But if you're looking at the big picture, the philosophy of it all, I don't know. I'm not a fan, I have to say.
No,
that's
it's
a personal,
not me neither.
A view of the studio, but it's a personal view. One little thing, Thomas. Anthony made me laugh. Our wonderful viewer that always makes us laugh from the Netherlands. We love hearing from the Netherlands. Anthony suggested that during lockdown, there's not been that many things to do. So we may be expecting 9 months from now, a bit of a baby boom.
Baby boom.
But the funny thing is, he went on to say, does that mean that by the year 2033, those people will be called the quarantines?
The quarantines,
isn't it?
It's the lockdowns.
Yeah, the lockdowns, lockdowns
Oh, they are lockdown babies.
Yeah, lockdown babies, yeah.
The lockdown
quarantines
babies. You know
is quite amusing because it's like play on the word teenagers, you know what I mean? So I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, another one is, okay, here is Cassie Duckworth. Hi, Cassie. She writes in, our Harare Recycle Center has been open throughout lockdown.
Oh,
so
well done.
They collected it. If I write, you guys collected it from the people and safely with social distancing, everything in mind. So that's a great one.
That's great, but I think Kathy is rare with that one. Well, certainly the one locally here has not been open, and others that I've been past have not. So I think you're very lucky there, Kathy. Well done, you. Good one.
Yeah, and people asking if anybody else has subtitles on we subtitled, man. I don't know how this happened, but it's great. See, this is what I mean. Something changed, and I think it's gonna go. It's the system, it's Facebook himself, it's the streaming, it's the social media platforms who probably struggling. That's why we got is not on our end.
Yeah, don't forget the capacity is down deliberately by Facebook and Google and Netflix and Amazon by 25%. So that might well have something to do with it. We do apologise. Mind you, if you're hard of hearing, it's very handy, and maybe you want to have the volume off and just read your subtitles so you haven't got to listen to me sending you off to sleep. I don't know, but I don't mind. As long as you're with us, that's the main thing.
Definitely. And carry on talking, because we talked holiday. How you wanted something else?
No, what it was about. It was just a small point. I think it was Sally Roberts from West Cornwall made a point, or definitely a viewer from Cornwall did yesterday, about how worried they were about suddenly having an influx of tourists with coronavirus and all that. Well, the director of Cornish tourism, Malcolm Bell, he said that Cornwall stands to lose a staggering £885 million and urges the sector to open for the summer, or as soon as they can. Otherwise, he's predicting massive implications for thousands of businesses and consequently staff. So there is a terrible dilemma there for the people of Cornwall, is it not? You know, are you going to let the tourists in to let the economy going again and keep everything tickety-boo? Or are you going to be thinking, no, coronavirus pandemic, we don't want it here on our patch? So that is a bit of a dilemma. We'd be interested to hear all our viewers' thoughts from Cornwall about where you stand on that.
That's gonna affect the area heavily. It's all these areas. People wanna go on holiday. They're gonna get full, hopefully. But it's the travel. It's how do you get there? It's all the social distancing going on. And we spoke about Wizz Air, no? And yes, and when you look over here, folded on to the screen. That's what they released. Yeah.
Oh right, there we go.
So that's what Wizz Air released. Saying, okay, that's how it's gonna look like, because we spoke about them. This is what the Dublin to Heathrow, or Belfast to Heathrow flight.
No, that was Aer Lingus.
This was Aer Lingus.
We spoke about Wizz Air because they showed a graphic the other day, a single graphic, and then we spoke about them the day before because they'd started flights from, was it Luton Airport? They were going to all sorts of countries like Slovenia, Israel was on there, and Hungary, of course, and other places. But Wizz Air are definitely an expanding airline. Did you know, Thomas, they've announced a new route to Abu Dhabi at the beginning of this?
See, that's why we spoke about it last night, didn't we?
Right,
that's the one. This is the new route to Abu Dhabi. I must say it's
from Budapest and Bucharest, would you believe? Which is quite unusual, because when you think about all the airlines in the world at the moment are really struggling and really can't think when they're going to resume services, let alone thinking about new routes. Wizz Air has surprised everybody with 2 new routes on a regular basis to Abu Dhabi. And definitely Wizz Air seems to be growing and very keen to get started with flying in holidaymakers, that's for sure. But this graphic is self-explanatory, but yes.
One is self-explanatory, but it's nice to see now what they think. So there's a passenger social distancing, face mask for crew and passengers, contactless in-flight payments.
Yes, well, that's
happened everywhere now. Most would like, and I saw this here by shopping. They rather you pay with plastic, and that's a big change for a Greek island where they now take rather plastic than cash.
That's true.
to be honest, this is the cash environment here mostly. So on holiday, but hand wipes for passengers and non-in-flight magazines, and the new safety video.
Yeah, well, that's probably about time they did a new one of those, but the magazine is going to be a little bit of a sad one, isn't it? I mean, I have to go back to saying something that I said the other day, Thomas. I mean, depending on how long the flight is, but frankly speaking, I'm only speaking from a personal point of view, that if I was on a flight for, say, 2 hours or more, I would have trouble having a mask on the whole time. I just simply would. And it would actually put me off getting on the flight, I have to say.
Just having a mask on and have to sit there now for that amount of time. Yeah, I mean, I guess I really don't care. It is okay, but you know what? I was a photojournalist. I've been to some zones, some areas in the world where we had to run around with masks just because of the smell. But you know what? Yes, it is a personal thing. It's but when you want to fly somewhere, no, I get that.
Well, the American airlines were experimenting with it. Delta started it off. United and American Airlines this week are introducing mandatory wearing of face masks, but they did stress it was experimental. Yeah, to see how it all goes. I mean, and of course, every country has different regulations. So some countries that you're flying into, you might have to.
I mean, it's exactly. That depends on the regulations. So I just hope that they all collaborate a little bit and establish the same thing, because when you start flying around, each country has different rules on how they're. I mean, that's getting then a little bit of worrying, because some take this more serious than others. So you fly from a country like England now here to Greece. I mean, here we most relaxed already. I've been to the petrol station quickly today, and he said, yes, you can stand outside and have your coffee. Just keep the thing. No seating, no chairs.
No.
So there's no chairs, but what the outside bar, a sitting area they have, it's high enough, you can stand. So that's allowed. In England, that's still not allowed.
No, I mean, not at all.
It's still lockdown effectively.
Yes, pubs aren't expected to open in the United Kingdom until June or possibly July. What they are actually actively talking about right this minute, next week we might know the answer to this. They might be opening up pub gardens so you can sit outside, obviously practicing social distancing, and if you're with a couple, you're in the same household, that's okay, but again, it wouldn't be any more than a couple, 2 people. I did see a photograph, I don't know where it was posted, possibly Facebook, of people sitting outside a pub. It's an illustration, and it's a restaurant, that's right, they were sitting in a restaurant, and they were cocooned in what looked like mini green glass houses, little greenhouses. I don't know whether you caught that.
It looks funny.
It looks funny, but it wasn't too bad, was it? I mean, you still had that romantic dinner, just covered with perspex, but at least you could see out. And
you still have the view and all these things, so it's all right.
Not the end of the world, sort of thing, is it?
No, it is. No, of course not. That's
better than
that's
that
the
wood.
New normal.
Better than all that. I didn't like that wood thing that you showed.
I think that was knocked up very, very quickly from the guys. So it's. Well, I'm getting a lot of messages in. One here. Okay, there's 2. Someone says love your voice. No, Benny, the Musiker says your voices remind me of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Michael Caine. So I rather listen. So
what a lovely thing
thank you so much.
Well, funny you should say that. Thomas can do a mean impersonation.
You know what? I have a feeling somewhere there's a bet going on somewhere.
Well, there is. I've heard that there might be the case in the United Kingdom. Nothing to do with me. I've been tipped off that is the case. Yes, people are discussing your Arnie accent as we speak right now.
As we speak right now. Okay. No, great. Thanks so much. Jerry O.D. is writing in and saying, on the subject of insurance, AXA have not charged me for motor insurance this month.
Really?
Nice one.
That's brilliant.
I mean, great.
Yes, absolutely. I think
that's a good story.
AXA, a French firm. Can't be sure of that. Certainly a European firm. Anyway, that's great. Yes. Well, if anyone else has an experience such as that, please let us know. We always like to hear good experiences. I wish a lot of firms were like that, but unfortunately, no.
See, and here, Lavinia is writing and saying, I don't see how lockdown in the UK can be lifted, as it never really existed in the first place.
Well, that's a good point.
I live in Corfu, but even I know of 2 people who have totally disregarded government instructions via a personal letter to stay at home. Apparently, they need to have a walk each day. So
well,
it's one rule for one for the other. So yeah. I don't know, but thanks for writing in it. I hope I'm not missing any messages. I'm looking really hard to then.
Okay. On Sunday, the people of the United Kingdom will know from their Prime Minister Boris Johnson what he plans for the week ahead. It's a big televised national address on Sunday evening, I do believe. The rumours are that Monday will start the beginning of easing of restrictions, but it will be a slow process over the coming weeks, going forward into June and July. In fact, in one of the daily papers today, they printed a 5-point path to return to the new normal, going up to October, would you believe? And I think it's secondary schools might be in July, and primary schools maybe in June that are opening, or not that far away, perhaps. Pubs, I do seem to remember, gardens, July, maybe.
Yeah. Fine. And I have here another message. Sorry, I must have missed it. I don't see that. Anthony van der Krank is saying lockdown is over. When there is a vaccine, then it's back to normal.
Yes,
so
well,
that's another
point,
one.
Anthony.
See, thank you for that. Yeah.
That's right. That would put us in doing lockdown SK for another 18 months. Yeah, cheers, Anthony. Good one, mate. I like that. Yeah. So, not a lot of people know that.
Yeah, and Patricia saying something weird about your sound today. It's echoing in the background.
Sorry.
Anyone else have this problem? Yes, I have no clue. This software update came in for all our equipment, and since the software update, I'm have a hard time to identifying that one.
We do get thrown by these updates. They come in at any time. We don't get any notice. And do you know, we've actually had updates trying to put themselves on the computer just before we're about due to go on air. I mean, that's the worst possible time imaginable. So it could very well be something to do with it, but we do humbly apologise for any echoing or imperfections in this sound quality, because as you know by now, StudioKerkyra has gained a certain reputation for being able to broadcast in superb audio quality and visual quality as well. I keep reminding the viewers often, when I remember to say so, that you can see our videos in superb quality HD on Vimeo and YouTube and Twitter, I do believe. So
we everywhere, man.
Yeah, we're prolific, aren't we?
Here it comes in. Christopher Dabana is saying, I would cancel the 2020 season now. No ambiguity. People would know where they stand. Then bail out the small companies first, both the multinationals.
Yes,
so it's a thing. But talking economics now, talking about Disney, 1.4 billion in losses they calculated. No?
Yeah. Across the board, depending on who you ask, but is that here or in the where's
now,
that figure?
Disney.
Oh,
Disney.
Right,
It's the Disney thing.
losses. Right, okay.
Virus cost Disney 1.4 billion, following a decade of expansions and speculation, profit growth. No? Disney has been hit hard by the pandemic, which cost is as much as 1.4 million.
Right, two quick things to say on that. Do you remember we said a week ago that Disney had announced they were going to make redundant 100,000 employees, specifically to save $500 million in one hit? Of course, the cynics amongst us would say, well, if that's the case and they're struggling now, why on earth did they pay so many tens of billions, and it was an enormous amount of money, to Rupert Murdoch for Fox International Pictures? I mean, they have been very busy on the acquisition trail over the last year. So maybe they'll have to think the inevitable. And, of course, the startup costs on Disney Plus, their new streaming service, must have been considerable, which has only been online for the last few months in Europe, a couple of months or so. Okay, they've got more than 50 million monthly subscribers, which is tremendous, a new business to pull in something like that. But maybe they've slightly overextended themselves money-wise, and maybe they ought to have a rethink and sell off something to pay that. I don't think they'll be getting a government bailout anytime soon.
I don't think it's not going to happen. But there's so much happening. Why we talk about economics. I got another graphic here.
Yes, that's right.
A look at that one. And that's the graphic I found. This is from Europe. This is from the European Commission coming, no?
Right.
For economic and finance affairs. When you look at 2020, and when you see Spain, Italy, and Greece, they are the hardest hit. No, they go beyond -9% of GDP this year.
Blimey.
No, as it's calculated for them. And when you look over to 2020, all of a sudden Spain, France, and Greece is going to the
Yes.
top performers of GDP, with going +7 and more.
For that to be the case, which is wonderful to see, and these are, we do stress, only projections and thoughts what could happen, allowing for no more second or third waves and social distancing, masks and hand cleansing and all the rest of it being adhered to. That would suggest then, Thomas, with Greece's increase projected at 7%, that they would be getting a lot of tourists in and holidaymakers. Maybe they will over the winter season, and maybe the spring season next year might literally spring into life. I would think that that's probably the biggest reason for their increase in GDP. Tourism back to some sort of sustainable level,
of normality. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised with that. So, and this is going to be all right. This is what they need, but the considerable difference when you see this year, it's going to be hit so hard, and next year, they think, okay, they're going to be under the top performers.
Yes, absolutely. A lot of statistics came out, and projections, I should say, today from London, when the Bank of England had their monthly meeting, 2-day meeting, to set interest rates. You'll be pleased to know they're still at a historic low, 0.1%, the Monetary Policy Committee there. And they're going to carry on with the quantitative easing programme, the £645 billion one. A couple of people voted for an increase in that by between 1 and 300 billion, but they didn't agree to do it as yet. But the projections were quite something.
Yeah.
Yes, January 2020 to March 2020, apparently, according to the Bank of England, the UK economy shrunk by 2.9%. Their projection for the next quarter, that's April 2020 to June 2020, they reckon the economy of the UK is going to shrink by a massive 25%. And of course, as you all know, 2 quarters back to back with a negative is recession. So it's pretty obvious that recession's coming to the UK. And overall, for the year as a whole, they reckon the whole UK economy is going to contract by 14%, which is the largest annual decline since the Office of National Statistics have been going. That's 1949. And would you believe the largest decline in the Bank of England's illustrious long history? Records began in 1706. The worst figures since 1706 in the United Kingdom. That's quite horrific, isn't it?
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But okay, you know what? That's how it's going. Here, I got a couple of messages in. Patricia Webster saying the CEO of Disney will get a bailout if he's friends with Trump's and his lot. So that's the thing, you know. Anthony, definitely, Anthony is saying, then you know what Disney makes a year when you just see the figures, you know.
Absolutely.
Billions and billions.
They're not short of a penny or two. Just final point on the Bank of England. They expect that by 2021, following from the graphic you've just seen from the European Commission that Thomas showed on screen a short while ago, they reckon, the Bank of England, that the UK economy is going to rebound in 2021 by 15%. So that's a good figure. Let's hope that that happens. The unemployment rate, which currently at the moment is 4% in the United Kingdom, they reckon is going to rise very soon to 9%. So that's not quite so good, is it?
No, definitely not. Here it's coming in. Melita is writing in. Oh, Nico is writing in. There's lots coming in. Nico, investing should take place in Corfu now. Investing not in tourism, but in alternative business. We should not have survived only on tourism. We have put all of our eggs in one basket.
Totally.
And then straight on.
It's good that Nico's reminded us of that, because Nico actually made that very good point a few weeks back, that really now is the time to reevaluate the state of the overall economy, the whole of Greece, and particularly the Ionian Islands. And absolutely, maybe other sectors should be considered, started up, and go back to other things they may well have done here. And there's plenty of things they could do and still do. Maybe tourism. You know, we've got to look at alternatives here, because I think one thing we can say, possibly with some certainty, that the period going forward for the next 2 to 3 years, tourism is absolutely in no way going to be at the same levels as it was before. It's just not.
No, definitely not. This is the new normal. The Prime Minister said it here, and that's exactly how it's going to be. Here, just related. Melita sent a message, and Christopher, just before I go on to Melita's, Christopher is saying, Farboard has asked for a bailout.
Really?
Unbelievable. I have no idea. Thank you for that one. We have to look into that one.
We will indeed. Well, they paid out, many would say, not enough money to the Greek government. I think it was something like 330 million euros for a 40-year concession for the airports of all the islands in Greece. It was very controversial at the time. We do know that. That's a bit cheeky. Mind you, I suppose the logic says that most of their airports around the world probably have not been functioning. And obviously, they haven't got deep pockets. The chief executive of Heathrow Airport in the United Kingdom, however, did say the opposite to that. A couple of weeks ago, I said it on Lockdown SK. He said that they had enough funds in reserve to see them through. That's the boss of Heathrow Airport. That's a Spanish construction firm.
Wow.
Ferreroville, I think, owns it now. Would you believe?
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting more message here. I mean, it is writing in the UK government rules have allowed old people, bar shielded, to have an hour out every day for exercise. So that's not breaking the rules. You know, this is all
that is true. We had it here, didn't we? One of the options of the list of originally there were 6. I think they cut it down to 4. One of them was you were allowed out for a short while, maybe an hour, no more, for exercise. Providing you kept within your home area. I think that was the key thing there. I tell you what, Thomas, in the last couple of days when I have been out and about, I've seen more people walking out and about. I've seen a bit of that power walking going on, you know, the one where they look like hares and they're charging forward. I don't know how they do it, you know. I really don't.
No, looking very, very scared.
I think I'd put my hip out if I started those.
Yeah, no, power walking, mountain bikers out, runners out.
Great.
It's great. It's nice to see, especially here when we look down in the afternoon and you see Halikunos Beach all the kite surfers taking
Not
off
today,
again.
but they have been this week.
This week thing. So it's just before the show I saw somebody going down. I know him. He had his kite in there. They are down there now. Perfect time, perfect thing.
Well, I think the wind dropped a little bit now. It was a little bit breezy earlier on, and we had a serious lot of wind yesterday. We're talking about the natural wind, of course. But yes, it's nice to see activities somehow getting back to some sort of a semblance of normal, because as we keep saying, we are going through a new period of new normal, and maybe that will be different in every country.
Totally, because how long can you stay in lockdown? How long can you stay in isolation without, you know, we are all social people. That's what it is. The socializing is in our nature, and all of a sudden this is taking away. But here, Vivian is writing in, I'm stuck in isolation. I can't take it anymore. Let it go, let it go, let it go. So, lol. But you know what it is? When it goes, and sometimes we laughing. We said, you know, are we going crazy now?
Lovely Vivian. She's not crazy. She's on the ball. I know that. Just let it go, Vivian. Don't worry. Don't hold back.
No, it's great. No, guys, thank you so much for writing, and thank you so much for taking part in the show. If you have anything to say, one question we've thrown out, so let us know. When do you think, for you, lockdown is over? When do you consider lockdown to be over?
Well, we've had a few answers to that.
We got a few answers for that, yeah.
The vaccination one, which could be a year or 18 months away, which is actually the line that quite a few governments are taking, that one.
That one. Melita, when she said, you know, when the most vulnerable, when the old one can go out and have fun.
Indeed. So, and I can't remember what the first one was now.
No idea, man.
Suggested.
I hoped you knew.
No, I'm struggling. Yeah, got the grey cells working overtime. I'm short of coffee. That may be the reason.
You need a coffee. But no, that's really, you know, when is it over? When can we carry on, you know, with the new normal? With the normal we won't be. But with the new, is it really when we got the vaccine? And say, okay, now it's, or when all, do you think all the restrictions what now are in place, the social distancing, and then I think that's gonna last for long, or you know what? Does it stay for, let me say, 2, 3, 4 years?
It has been said that figure isn't plucked out of midair from Thomas's amazing brain. It has actually been said by many experts around the world, possibly representatives from the World Health Organization. They have suggested that certain measures will continue for quite some time. Social distancing is definitely one of those.
Yeah, and
but we're still not clear, are we, exactly when people's perception of the end of lockdown is. We knew there's going to be a difference of opinions here, so we'll have to keep a running tag of what people are suggesting, and there's probably some more out there. So keep your thoughts coming. We love hearing from you, of course.
Yeah, and I got a couple of other things in there. As after reporting no new local infections for 2 weeks, Hong Kong is cautiously reopening further, with museums and public libraries now allowed to welcome visitors. Gyms, movie theater, bars, and Myong's barrels will open Friday. I have no idea what I just said.
Actually, Thomas, that would put Hong Kong almost at the head of the pack.
Of the pack, exactly. Yeah.
Really, that's quite impressive, especially restaurants and other public places opening up, and gymnasiums. I mean, these things, you know, are from the United Kingdom's point of view, are always put way back in the summer or something. But Hong Kong there, blazing a trail for ending lockdown. Interesting.
So it's exactly so, and that's why I say when it's over, that would be interesting, and how the new normal gonna look like. We got a little bit of taste with all the plexiglass and all the stuff, on the beaches, in the restaurant. No?
Yes.
We can see that. Okay, masks we have to wear, especially in shops, also people who work in things, dentists, hairdressers, all, and this social distancing seems a little bit, I think, seems the weirdest out of all. Wearing a mask, okay. Wearing gloves, okay. But not being able to go, close to each other for a considerable time.
No handshakes.
And everybody seems so cautious. There's some people...
that's a key point there.
See, that's...
That what you've just said there, we're talking about governments rescinding rigid lockdowns, but actually, do all the population want that? We keep hearing the other side of it. Many people actually are sceptical of their governments. I was reading a report about the United Kingdom today that was saying that whatever Boris Johnson's announces on Sunday, and the restrictions start to ease from Monday next week, there are loads of people in the United Kingdom who simply don't want it. Fear is out there in the population as a mass, I think. Fear of this coronavirus pandemic.
Yeah. So
the second wave, of course.
And
exactly,
comes. That's the next thing, is the second wave, where people say we have.
I suppose proper testing, reliable testing that give accurate results. Let's be accurate here.
Yeah, but
to know for sure about.
Hancock's one is about 100,000 tests. It's fallen again far below that one.
Do you want to know the funny thing? Boris Johnson came along and put his 2 pence in, and suddenly the target of 100,000 has been risen to 200,000, but they can't even reach the first target yet. So I don't know. Mind you, we did say on Lockdown SK that testing in the United Kingdom was a problem. Boris Johnson told us all that very early on, because he was trying to track down and trace chemicals himself. I don't know whatever happened to that.
Yeah, and I just got in, while we're talking lockdown, is headlines already coming out in tomorrow's or on today's papers here in the UK. Hurrah! Lockdown freedom beacons.
Yes. Well, that's. I mean, things will be slightly easier in terms of lockdown restrictions next week. That's for sure. The Prime Minister has indicated that he's going to address the nation on Sunday.
So I got this info on Annabelle, and seems the touring-loving papers are basically telling the UK to get ready for a lockdown ending party.
Probably, yeah. The Daily Telegraph is very staunch that everybody should go back to work and all the rest of it, but everybody has different opinion on these things. I personally think caution is the way forward, but there you go.
So, and here, Benny is writing in, I read September, bars, restaurants and gyms, etc. to reopen gradually. October, there are fears of second wave. Exactly, and that's where they are all, why they said it before, when the winter comes back and influenza is coming.
That was the man
back,
from the CDC.
The CDC guy, isn't it? Yeah.
He was really worried about November, he specified, about the clash between normal influenza season, it is in the United States, and COVID-19. He was worried about, obviously, the pressure on the health services. I mean, that's what the real worry is there.
Yeah. So it's now easing the restrictions all and let that out, and then throw them back into lockdown. That's it. We could be in the situation for quite a while when you think we're easing it. Boom, get it, okay, we have a wave, we're getting it back, boom. They were opposed, exactly. So we lock down again. And is that the new normal he was talking about? Until we find a vaccine, that's going to be like that. We're easing that down because it retreats again, so we can do our economic stuff we need to do to survive the next wave.
Could well be. And
so it's a sort, no?
We've heard a lot from world leaders who say that they will have no hesitation in bringing back restrictive lockdown practices the minute the infection cases rise, or there's a sudden spike in fatalities, or indeed, of course, any evidence of an impending second wave. They won't hesitate to bring back lockdown, possibly stronger than before. So, we keep saying we're not out of the woods. Everything's speculative and up in the air. Maybe the United Kingdom will get some more clarity next week.
Sunday, Sunday where
the public address.
The public address, and then what Monday they're gonna
something
is gonna happen.
There's a few things they can do. I think they're anxious to get primary school children back to school within the next few weeks. Secondary school children, I think, the month after that. but businesses and shops probably will start to open up. Garden centres, I think, was favourite to be one of the first things in the United Kingdom to open up, I believe. Yeah.
So, but it's, you know, we have Chris, oh, look, okay, there's a second wave coming your way. You know, but they have not said it's not happening. But it's speculating. Everything is speculation at the moment. And that's why we have to be so careful not to get tied up in that, not to get caught up in that in such a way. So we're bringing ourselves down. You know, that's a worry I always have when I see people today, as example, when I was out, somebody said, this is all nothing. You know, I don't believe in that something is wrong, they're playing us. The other one is scared about it. And said, you know, I don't agree with you. Man, at least they didn't fight. But, you know, it's the information flow what is coming. You are not sure what you see. You're not sure what you read at the moment for 100%. So anything you read, anything you see, just take that instantly with a pinch of salt. Let it settle in a little bit and think about it. Yeah. Well, we're on a stage again where I got another thing in where somebody writing, you know, some of the freaky comments what come out where you can see people are getting frustrated and restless.
Yeah, not surprised. They are indeed.
So no, it is. But you know what? I think that's again. I can't believe the time is running. But you got another story over here,
There's
haven't you?
one which is something slightly different. A lot of people in the United Kingdom and, of course, around the world were very disappointed to know back earlier in the season that the famous Chelsea flower show.
Yes, I was thinking one thing. Perfect.
It was. It's been going. It was due in March. But unfortunately, it got cancelled at the beginning of lockdown. It's usually held at London's Royal Hospital in Chelsea. And it's been there ever since 1913, would you believe, with the exception of World War I and World War II. It's always put on by the Royal Horticultural Society, and it's a fantastic display of gardens and designs, and it's open to the public, and it's something that gets anyone who's remotely green-fingered very excited about. Well, the good news is, okay, it was cancelled this year, but the good news, Thomas, is that they're going to have it virtual Chelsea.
Yeah, I just got it on the screen.
There we go.
Here it is.
Isn't it? Yes. And the whole mission of this is to inspire more people to get growing. The planned billing, apparently, every morning there's going to be a tour of private gardens of a particular designer or florist or maybe a gardening personality or two. And excuse me. And then there'll be a daily school gardening club for families to garden together, and a potting bench which has demonstrations showing techniques for growing and maintaining plants, and a lunchtime question and answers session with special guests. All of this is due to be broadcast on BBC One and BBC Two throughout the week, and the week, of course, is the 18th to the 23rd of May. So it's a bit like that Grand National that they converted into a virtual race. Here we've got a wonderful plant exhibition, Chelsea Flower Show. It's absolutely the preeminent flower show in the whole world, I should think, or one of them, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Going virtual reality. Okay, it's not the real McCoy, but it's a close second. It's a pale but good imitation, I would think.
Yeah, definitely. I got the website up here now for the to the viewers. And when you go on to www.rhs.org.uk, and there you go straight to the homepage, and you can select then the virtual Chelsea. And it looks great, you know. So all the information is on here. You can register and you can take part in that. And virtually, see, this is the virtual world start getting now more and more interesting with everything we do in our new normal, isn't it? It becomes a big part. So the virtual world is becoming more and more part. And it's interesting to see how it involves already, and where it's going.
Yes, and indeed, I guess one thing that has proliferated throughout many countries during their lockdowns has been actually gardening. I think lots of people actually have started to take up gardening, or definitely tend their gardens and grow vegetables. I think that's, I told you a few weeks ago, they were completely out of seeds here of basic vegetables, weren't they?
Yeah, as well a little bit. It's got a little bit scary at one point. Yeah, when you got into the supermarket, man, it was not as extreme as in other countries. They were quite civilized here, and it was all right, but it was weird. You go into the store where we get our pet food and our stuff, and she does the flowers. Angela Flower House. Yes,
fantastic.
It's great.
Hello,
so,
Angela.
Angela's Flower House. Hi, thanks for tuning in. I know she is watching us every now and then. But going in there, it's
Yes, it was. It wasn't quite.
No.
No, it wasn't quite comfortable, was it? There were a few people milling around. That was a few weeks ago, wasn't it? But anyway, gardening seems to have increased, which is no wonder, really. Corfu, although the beautiful, natural, wonderful island that it is, there are lots of people here who tend their gardens. They love their gardens here on Corfu.
Oh,
you may remember,
beautiful.
actually, during the, I think it was the penultimate day of last year's Corfu Literary Festival, they had a gardening lecture there. Rachel Weaving was in discussion at the gymnasium, I think, in the centre of Corfu town. And it was the beginning after that, they were going to have open gardens. There was a whole movement afoot to show people that
they are there, the fantastic
Corfu.
thing, and here,
Indeed.
and that's happening every year in the autumn. So it's fantastic, and there's some fantastic estates here who display their gardens and opening the gardens up to the public or guided tours. But Nikos and Annabelle Louvros, through the Corfu Literary Festival, they organize certain tours in there, and it's brilliant.
Yes, we were hoping to bring one, but we may be in the future.
In the future, definitely we can organize things. Yeah, so, and Nikos Louvros is writing in, and that's for the first time in history, the Notting Hill Carnival, the biggest in Europe and second to Rio, has been cancelled.
I'm not surprised. Thank you for telling us that, Nico. But I guess it was kind of inevitable in a way, wasn't it, really? I think they learnt their lesson after the Cheltenham Festival, the horse racing, a big event, and, of course, the football match at Anfield, which all both happened in March. And with contact tracing, they're pretty sure that those two events were responsible for a hell of a lot of infections. So the Notting Hill Carnival attracts millions, doesn't it? Or at least 1 or 1.5 million people. It is a really big do in London. And yes, I'm sure it is second to only Rio. Mind you, those Brazilians know how to party and carnival, but so they do here in Greece. We remember that Greece's carnivals were completely cancelled on the 27th of February. Very quick.
Totally, this was wrong. Yeah, wrong. Boom, this was this. See, this is why they responded so quickly. They just took it seriously. That's why I'm getting confused when I see some of my Greek friends here thinking that all is a conspiracy. You know, there's nothing behind it. What is that's the danger we were talking about when people are starting to, because you're not affected straight. Or immediately
you
affected.
Don't know that you are. You're asymptomatic. And remember, the World Health Organization keeps reminding us that it could be as much as a third of the population has got it without realizing and showing no symptoms of it.
Yeah, but especially for an island like Corfu, we haven't been really affected by it. There was nothing,
touching wood,
knock wood. But you know what? So you're not direct exposed to that.
No.
It's hard for you to believe, and especially when it carries on, and you're not getting the right information or information what is now conflicting or confusing you.
Yes, I don't know about not enough information from the world's media about COVID-19. I think we're all
it's over.
But we've seen an awful lot of videos from hospitals and videos posted by nurses and frontline medical staff. One of our viewers, Thomas, answered that point the other day. They simply said, well, to the disbelievers, send them to the hospitals and let them hobnob with the COVID-19 patients, or words to that effect. I can't remember who that was, but that's a very good point. That's exactly right. Yes, they should get to grips. I can't believe, though, really, Thomas, that there are that numbers, millions, is it? I don't know, that truly don't believe COVID-19 exists.
This is area, but we're not confronted with it here at all. We have no cases on the island, and nothing tragic happened. Nobody died, really, or one person died, I think. But you know what? So how should you take it serious when we're on an island? It's if you're there in the United Kingdom in an area where it's hard. Yes, it shocks you. You believe on that, and there you have the majority that's real. That's here. But on a location like that, on other islands, we are not affected. What should you think? These conspiracy theories start just taking it away.
One thing that could be done quite cheaply, actually. Who am I to suggest what the Greek government should do or shouldn't do? But one thing that they could do is gather enough information, most of it filmed, and put out a short public information broadcast. In the days gone by, countries used to do that. With qualified medical practitioners and as making it as real and as valid as they possibly can. Of course, the downside to that is the real doubting Thomas will probably say, well, just more government propaganda or something. But I think the viewer's right. Go to the hospital, see for yourself, if they'll allow you in, of course.
Yeah, so see, but you know what? I have to say it again. Like I said, it's always, and I say it now, the 50th time already. Now, that's all we have time for today. So we got. Ooh, have you got anything else? Or you're
No,
right, nothing else at all.
I'm going light today. Yes, no, but we have got another moral dilemma for our viewers tomorrow or the next day.
Yep.
That depends on whether we get this elusive Skype call from our jolly Australian friend. Let's hope we do, Thomas.
We have hope I can sort some of the problems out we're having. So somehow we're gonna see updates. I have to look through that again because it just rattled me before the show again. I said I can't believe that. So, but
it's always
hey,
the wrong
that's
time.
Exactly. This is how it is.
We're living on the edge here to bring you this live digital broadcast because it's extra pressure and stress when you're doing anything live, as most of you can imagine. But Thomas has so many things to think about, you know, so channels and cameras and audio and all of it, and the communications coming in as well. It's full on, Thomas.
Yeah, but it's fun. It's great. It's fantastic. I enjoy it, especially when you guys take part. The numbers are great. Thank you. If I forgot anybody today, I really, really apologize. I'm gonna get that in to tomorrow's show then, and with your question for the viewers. No, thanks. Our question was, okay, when do you think lockdown gonna be over? Still comment on that and let us know what your opinion is. But to the 50th time now, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for watching. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for supporting us so fantastically. We send a lot of love and hugs to you all back home, wherever you are, here from the lovely island of Corfu. Until tomorrow, have a fantastic evening and Kalinista.
Absolutely. And thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day. And wherever you are, have a very lovely afternoon.